Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched Survivor Season 39, Island of the Idols, Episode 2, YOLO, Let's Play. Spoilers ahoy! If you haven't seen this episode yet and don't want to find out what happens, then stop listening to this episode right now. Alright, so last episode, Ronnie was voted out. There's a lot of fallout from that, because everybody on Ronnie's side, who was not in on that vote, felt really betrayed and thought, man, if you could just told us. And that's never the case. You can never just tell everybody that you want to vote somebody out in a blind side. Then it's not a blind side. So anyway, they're dealing with that over on Lyro, but Lyro? How do you pronounce their team name? But other than that, the only other stuff that really happens over on that tribe is that Chelsea, while they're gathering wood and all that, finds an idol, and that is super awesome. And I'm a little bit rooting for Chelsea now. I don't think I even mentioned Chelsea in the last episode, but that's really awesome. So over on Vokai, a boat arrives at. Okay, so now Nora is being really annoying. But she was being annoying because Molly was being annoying, and they're both very different kinds of annoying, but hey, people are different. It's fine. Anyway, they're doing yoga on the beach, which is like, it's a really stupid idea when you have so little food. Maybe that's why they ended up losing. Spoilers, jumping ahead. They lose the challenge. Maybe they should have spent less time doing like strenuous yoga exercise, like just doing like the relaxing stretches type stuff, but they're doing like exercise aspects of yoga. So yeah, not bright, but everybody went along with it. They're not bright either. Anyway, Nora's being super annoying, and Molly is being annoying back, and there's complete opposite, it seems like, but yeah, things aren't going well. But a boat arrives, and Kelly was the one who was selected from the bag to go over to. Okay, so what happens if the person they selected from the bag is voted out? Which is not the case with last week's episode, but she went to the island before the tribal council. And before the immunity challenge, even. So that'll be interesting to see. It could be. It's not the case because Vokai loses the immunity challenge, and so they go. So whoever was selected for Lyro would be, or maybe if they had lost, if Lyro had lost, they would have had another Island of the Immunity Idols thing right then. I don't know. It didn't happen, so we don't have to worry about what happens there. But Callie goes over to Island of the Idols, and she gets this social overload. Hearing all these stories from Sandra and Rob, and she's like, seems like really overwhelmed. Like, what is happening right now? I don't get it. And it seemed like she was a little bit tuned out. And she's offered the chance the whole time was the test, was the lesson. And the lesson basically is like form not friendships necessarily, but form social bonds by listening to other people, talking to them, learning about them and what's important to them. And it can be really helpful. And she was like overwhelmed when she learned that was what was going on. It's like, oh, I don't think I can answer that many correct questions correctly. Because the initial offer was 4 questions right, and that she would win an idol that's good for the next 2 tribal councils. But she's hesitant about it. She didn't think she could do it. So Rob ups the ante to just 3 questions right, and and it would be good for 3 tribal councils. And she says, "Oh yeah, YOLO, let's play." At that point, so she benefited from not being as confident as Elizabeth was, because if Elizabeth said no, then she would have gotten a second offer that was a lot easier, probably. Maybe like a 1 minute head start or something like that. We'll never know. We'll never know what her advantage would have been, or the less of a challenge would have been. But anyway, Kelly answers all 3 questions. They don't even go to 4 and 5 because she answers the first 3 correctly. All of them are about Sandra. And, I mean, the first question, Sandra is wearing an army hat. A hat with the army, like, and army insignia on it. Like, that to me is like, because the question is, what branch of the military Sandra's husbands serve in? And it's the army. She's wearing an army hat. But anyway, that seemed like a really easy question. The number of daughters seemed like pretty easy question. But then again, we're watching like the 5 minutes condensed version of all these conversations. We're getting the pertinent information, so we feel smart remembering those things. But she is probably sitting there for like a half hour for stories from each of them, that kind of thing. So anyway, it was a pretty cool challenge. I like that a lot. And she got all 3 questions. I forget what was the third question. Oh, it was name one of her dogs. And one of the dogs is named Papa, I think. So now I know all this information about Sandra. Why? But anyway, she wins, and so she has an immunity idol. There are currently 2 idol. Oh, I didn't write this on the chart. There are currently 2 idols. One in possession of Chelsea and Lyro, and now one idol that will expire in possession of Kelly. So she has 2 more tribal councils here because she doesn't use it in this tribal council. Excuse me. Lyra wins, first of all, this challenge, immunity and reward. The reward is a bunch of spices. Everybody's really excited about that. The immunity, they had to untie a ladder from the ocean floor and then use the ladder in the middle of the ocean to climb up and untie a bag of balls, and then get those balls into like a little obstacle course, like gravity puzzle thing, like hit the targets inside of that, which looked really cool. I like that kind of stuff a lot. So Lyra had a huge lead because Vokai had a whole lot of trouble with that ladder. They kept dropping it because they had to physically hold the ladder in place as one of the people climbed up on it. It wasn't like propped up against something, leaned up against something. It was only held up by the people still in the ocean, and they had some trouble with that. But they almost caught up. It was 2 and 2. There were 3 targets in the ball thing, and both teams had 2 of them filled at the end there. But Lyro got the win. I think it was Missy who got the final one. Elaine got the second one, and Missy got the first one, something like that. And yeah, it's I really, really like this challenge, and it's awesome that the other team won. I was really worried that this would be another season that just one tribe just dominates every single challenge. It's too soon to say for sure, but so far it's 1-1, and that's a lot. I think last season it was just one team just dominant the entire time. The only challenges that the other tribe won were reward challenges. They never won an immunity challenge, I don't think. So it's nice. Within the first 2 episodes, everybody has been. There are some seasons where some people don't end up going to tribal council until the merge, which is insane. Right off the bat, episode 2, everybody in the game has been to tribal council, and I think that's a great thing. Another great thing about that is that a lot more people a lot more different people are the focus of this episode. Like Elizabeth, she was not mentioned at all except when she was during the challenge. I don't think. It didn't seem like she played into anything else that was going on this entire episode, whereas she was a huge focus last week. And then on the flip side, Kelly is a huge focus this week because she went to Island of the Idols, and then Nora and all of them as well. Kelly did have a lot of focus last week too, I think. But anyway, I like that about it when we have the different tribes winning. When it's not just one tribe winning, we don't get to know the winning tribe because we're only focused on the tribal councils. And even if that wasn't the case, this season would help a little bit with having the Island of the Idols that alternates between the tribes that go to it. Okay, so they go to tribal council. There's all this talk. Jason and Nora felt at the bottom this entire time, and so they get together and they hatch a plan. They recruit who they need to. They convince some people. They are going to get Molly out, and they succeed. Molly gets 7 votes, I think. Jason gets 2 votes. Nora gets 1 vote. I think that's how it worked out. It might have been just 1-1 and then 8. I'm not sure. But, man, that was super successful. Molly had no idea at all. I think a lot of that is Jason really played up being the target, and it was super believable. Like it seemed like she was super confident, and he seemed like he was super worried. And well done, Jason. Well done. I guess there's the lawyer has to go after the law. The other lawyer, is she a lawyer or just a law student? I can't remember exactly what she at what point in her law career. I just wrote law next to her name. So I have to think that I meant something different than lawyer. But anyway, Molly is out. She's the second to leave the game. There's no Redemption Island or anything like that. Or whatever. What was last season's called? What was it called? It was Edge of Extinction. That's right. So there's none of that this season. So she's out. She's out. This season is like the complete opposite of last season in like every way so far. But preview for next week. Somebody cuts open their hands. They said something about seeing bone. So that can't be good. I don't think somebody can stay in the game if they're that injured. But I guess we'll see. Maybe they're exaggerating. Maybe it was like a chicken bone that got in there or something. That's even worse maybe. We also had a little snippet from Island of the Idols. Whoever ends up going there, they're tasked with the challenge of sneaking into the other tribe's camp at night. And that could be, if that's all that the next episode consists of, that could be amazing. But there's all the other Survivor stuff, plus the hand getting cut, all that kind of thing that's going to play into it as well. I am so excited for next week's episode, which is actually tonight because I'm recording this on the afternoon of the following Wednesday that this aired. So I'm going to watch it as soon as I get home from seeing Symphony of Metallica 2, which is playing in the theaters tonight. I just found that out last night. And I was like, oh, I definitely should go see this because I really wanted to go see the actual concert, but it's like really, really expensive to go to that concert. So that did not happen at all. But seeing it in the theater, $15 or $12, whatever, however much it costs, hell yeah, that's awesome. So I'm going to that tonight. I'm really excited, and I'll let you all know how that is in the next episode here of Survivor. So my top picks stay the same. I don't remember exactly what who were my top picks. I think on Vokai is Tommy and Jack. But Kelly has won me over a little bit. I think I'm just going to like anybody who goes to Island of the Idols, so it's like totally random. But Elizabeth still, she hasn't done anything to lose my favor. And then Vince was had a little bit of entertaining moments this episode, but his story, there wasn't much to tell in really anybody on Lyra's story this week except for Chelsea. Chelsea, I might add into there as my third pick on Lyra. And along with Kelly being added in there as my third pick on Vokai. So there you go. That's my thoughts on episode 2 of Survivor Island of the Idols. Let me know what you thought about this episode and who do you think is going to go to the Island of the Idols next? Who do you think is going to be eliminated next? And who are you rooting to win if it changes week to week? All that. Let me know by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe out there in all the infinite multiverses, and I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Bye!